how to actually do it. It's a brief overview. Hopefully it will give you some insight, some confidence, some information. What I'm going to ask from you is to interact with me through the live chat as much as you can, so I can give examples and answer questions which are relevant to your business. Okay, so Canva for the first time. Okay, so just a little bit about me. I am the founder and owner of Eliana Cline Copywriting. I'm a graduate of 2 really prestigious elite copywriting colleges or online courses called Copy Tribe and Copy Hackers. I have been published in many international and national publications, and my company focuses on B2B website and email strategy. I also do a bunch of other stuff like content writing, LinkedIn profiles, LinkedIn content creation. And the weird thing about me is I actually have a degree in mathematics. So that's a whole nother story in itself. So the first thing I want to ask you, the overview is, firstly, why is email marketing worth it? Why is it even worthwhile doing it? You probably spend a lot of money, or you would like to spend a lot of money on Facebook ads, Google ads, LinkedIn ads, print brochures and stuff like that. So email marketing is really the, nebbish little sister, which people have forgotten about, the Cinderella. Then we're going to talk about your list, which is who you send it to, your offer, what you're going to send. Then we're going to talk about setting up your ESP, which is a fancy way of setting up your email provider, and how to choose the right one. Some of you are probably using one, so we'll talk a little bit about moving, not moving, what you want to look for if you are going to start out, and then the fun begins. Okay, so the first question, okay, I don't have a fancy poll set up, but if you could just tell me in the chat, who here uses any form of email marketing with your current or future or potential customers or clients? Let me see that I can see this. Yeah, I can see it. Wait, look. We do? No? Yes. Okay, use Facebook and WhatsApp. Okay, anyone else? MailChimp. Okay, so MailChimp is a favorite. Okay, so you already are using, some of you are already using it. The ones of you who are using it, what do you use it for? What do you kind of, do you do it regularly? Do you do it just when you have a special offer? Do you do it, at random? Okay, they'll just kind of pop on, and if you want to just share in the chat or ask questions, you can go there. So a lot of people think that email marketing is not useful. Like I said, they think Facebook is much more effective. They spend a lot of time on Facebook, Google AdWords, PPC, stuff like that. The people who do use it, we don't always use it right. We don't understand what it's for. Okay, Michael, you say you use it for a blog or a newsletter. What kind of service do you offer? And I'd like to know more about what newsletter you send. Okay, so you can kind of just, when you hear me, I'll just keep an eye on the chat. Okay. So email is really an underutilized form of marketing for small businesses. It's underutilized and utilized wrong. I'll tell you just one case study quickly, and there are millions of these. This is from my personal experience. At the beginning of the year, I was helping a company in America launch a small digital course for the first time. We did not spend any budget on Facebook ads, on native ads, on Google ads, anything like that. We used our networks, built a really strong course sales page, and together with the email marketing, we reached revenue of $40,000, and that kind of doubled the revenue of what we expected, just through a bunch of very strategically crafted emails. So obviously, every industry is different. Your e-commerce is different to your services, to your property sales. But email marketing can be used exceptionally powerfully and smartly. And the amazing thing is it can start off being very cheap or cost next to nothing. There's nothing really else which is so cheap in the digital marketing world. You have to pay for someone to get your SEO up there, pay for Facebook ads, you've got to pay for your LinkedIn ads, you've got to pay for your PPC. So it really is a worthwhile form. But like I said, it has to be done smartly and strategically. So why should you use email marketing? The first thing is it's very cost effective. There's a very, this is all going to bother you. Sorry, everyone. Okay. Email marketing is cost effective. So the stat you're going to see out there is that it's $42 of ROI for every marketing spend. That's a complicated stat, but really for what you can do with it and the amount of money it can cost you, it really is worth it, especially if you're already getting leads from other sources. The other thing about email marketing is it's hyper-targeted. So it's not spray and pray. The people who are on your list are people who have already displayed some form of interest in your service or your product. Okay, because they've come onto your list from some kind of interaction, unless you buy a list, which I'm really sure that no one does that, yeah? So that's the one. So it's hyper-targeted. You're talking to people who you know already have an interest or a need or some kind of a relationship to the problem you're trying to solve. And number three is it develops a meaningful long-term relationship. So there was one amazing lady who I consulted with, and she had thousands of people, and she would sell her courses on her WhatsApp lists. And I said, so how would you sell? She said she just sends out WhatsApps. And I said, but like after a while, people, number one, stop reading them. Number two, you can't say that much. You can't share your personal story. You can't really add value. It's just a sales tool. So it's very limited, WhatsApp. Facebook is not that limited. At the same time, it's costly and it's very much, a numbers game. Email marketing keeps you top of mind if you do it smartly, right? So someone might contact you and not want your service now, but in 6 months, if you keep sending valuable emails, you will be top of mind for the right person. So it really is a long-term game. It's not like something that gives you immediate results, but it is worth investing in and spending a little bit of time on. Okay, so. Okay, so the first part of email marketing and the first part of any effective offer is your list. So where could you get your list from? Now, some of you are thinking, I don't have any people on my list. Well, what about Puppy Act? Okay, we can talk about Puppy Act. You have to ask people for their permission. Okay, where, for those of you who have a list, where do you get your list from? And for those of you who don't have a list, where could you get your list from? Okay, so even if you're not planning on doing any email marketing, I would suggest that you seriously, sorry, I'm just trying to organize this chat, that you do your list right away. You get your list from Facebook leads, great. Okay. Anyone else? From previous quotes and sales, from email inquiries, great. So where do you store them now that you've got your list? Okay. On your phone. Okay. Okay, next on MailChimp, great. Okay. Export to MailChimp, great. So your list is your gold. You use ActiveCampaign, that's amazing. Okay, gold standard in email systems are built over time, leads from property portals, great, stored on MailChimp and CRM. Great. So every single interaction with a client or potential client, you want to be thinking about growing your list. So you have a live webinar, you offer a freebie, you do a talk, you do anything, you do an event, especially for your service providers. Just store them on your list, even if you're not going to do anything with them, and constantly building up your list as you go. For those of you who have more established lists, like Michael and Mark, it seems like yours are a little bit more established, you want to start doing something which we'll talk about at the end, like segmenting and tagging them, so you can really target them with the right value. Okay, so you want to be building up your list over time. Even if your list is 100 people, 150 people, it's valuable. Those people have shown interest in you and you want to store them and start building a relationship with them. And over time, you'll start building your list up. So this client who I consulted with, she's an amazing coach. So what she did is, like, just herself with no budget, we kind of spoke about different options. She put out a message on Facebook saying, this is my story. This is what I can offer you. I've created a short video, which you can learn more about, what I learned through my journey. And she said, if you're interested, please put your email address here or WhatsApp this number. So it wasn't very high tech. There wasn't a landing page, but it got her 100 people, 150 people who were interested in that. And she's going to carry on doing that. And over time, we'll build up her list. Your list is not about numbers. It's about engagement and value. Okay. Any questions about your list, where you could get more people from your list from? If you're doing any form of PPC, any form of anything, you want to try capture on your website your email addresses as much as possible. Okay, so the worst thing is when someone phones you, say you have a small business or you do high value property consulting, retail property, your list might be small, but that's a high value person, and you want to just save the email address whenever you can in your ESP or CRM or Excel. Okay, any questions about where to get your list, where else you could get lists from, ideas to get your list? No. Okay, go on. Now this is probably the most important part of people which don't always understand. What do you want to email people about and why you should email them. Okay, so Michael, what do you email people when you say you send out a newsletter? What is in that newsletter? Mark, use active campaigns. I'm assuming you've got a robust email strategy in place. Am I missing conversations here? No. Okay. What do you email? Okay, so what do you firstly, what you definitely don't email is this product, this sale, this special. You don't want to spam people, and you don't want to only talk about giving how to keep emails interesting, how to not just discount and not just offers. Okay, Nadine, great. Basic, okay, Michael says basic information, specific area, and tips for buying and selling. Michael, it sounds like you've got a great strategy. I'd be interested to see your stats, because it seems like you're doing a good job. Okay, so the first thing is, what do people care about? So Nadine has asked, Nadine, you sell essential oils, if I'm not mistaken, and you want to know how do you keep emails interesting, which is a great question. When you have a service, it's easier to talk to people about your expertise and your industry. When you have an actual product, it's not as easy. So think about it like this. Email is a conversation, what you would have in person with someone. You want to walk up to someone and they say to you, Nadine, could you please tell me about your, essential oil for sleep? And you'd say, yes, you have to buy it at this price. And you would ask them about their problem. You would give them some background. You would share your own stories. So see it as a conversation, and you write it to one person. The more value you can share, the more the point of email marketing. Selling is one part of it. In e-commerce, fine. Services, or something which people don't understand much about, is you want to establish yourself as an industry expert, which people like you and trust you. So Michael, you're talking about tips for buying and selling. The more valuable these are, the more talks what people want. And they're not just like cute tips, 5 ways to understand your house's real market value. The more you can add real content, real value, not spam people, and talk to them one-to-one, you will build a relationship with them. They will start looking forward to your emails. And then it might take 3 months, it might take 6 months, it might take a year, but you will become top of mind, right? Because you are a person who they can trust. They know that, maybe you'll share a story about somebody came to you and they wanted to buy a house, and, you told the truth, and maybe you lost money. And, always tying back to what do people care about in your industry, obviously, and what's interesting to them. Okay, so like I said, like email strategy is a big thing. It's like it's an entire industry in itself. But think about value. You want to educate, share, and connect. Okay, Mark Kruger says emailing is great, very needed. The content is important. How do you find the right content when one is not a copywriter? Okay, it's hard. It's a specialty, and a space in someone's email box is sacred. It's a privilege, and for them to first invite you in is one step, but then to keep opening your emails, that's what you want. You want for them to keep opening your emails when one is not a copywriter. There are some resources out there, depending on the budget of your business. Big businesses, even small businesses, B2B businesses, they do invest in an email strategist or email marketer, or get someone on their team, because it is such a high value, channel. Okay, so it's a conversation. It's not part of a sales pitch. And then once in a while, you can pitch. Say you have an offer which is really good, or you can put it into the email. But just think about it, creating knowledge. So Nadine, you could talk about 5 reasons why essential oils is better than normal pills, or there's so many different things people probably ask you about, are interested in, are confused about, which you could use that. So Odette says, must I use photos in emails, please? Okay, Odette, what is your business? Photos are very accepted in your...
It's rentals, property rentals.
So I would have to talk about that. It depends. It depends on if you're just sending out regular emails, or if you want to, if that's what people are interested in. You don't want to overload with photos. Photos can be very useful for a reason. Okay. Nadine says, is it important to put out a tip or info on a regular basis once a week? If you can email people consistently. So whether it's once a week, once every 2 weeks, that they actually you want to kind of keep top of mind, then absolutely, it could be a short tip. It could be like a 3-line thing. It could be a paragraph. It doesn't have to be a huge thing. I'm on one list where they send out like one parenting tip every day. I love it. I absolutely love it. It keeps, it's really useful to me because it's short. A lot in the services space, a lot of people, the coaching and that world, it's often once a week. You want to do it regularly and consistently, even if they're shorter. Okay, so other questions. Remember, it's about value, value, value. So people often write little blogs or they write little like cute emails, and they are not worthy. They're not respectful to the people they're reading, and they're not positioning you as an expert in your field. So it really depends on who you're talking to, but you have to add so much value. Don't worry about sharing your knowledge. The more free knowledge and free expertise you can share, the better. The more people will trust you, the more people will like you, they'll refer you onto their friends. Okay, pictures can take time to download or not download at all. Great point, Shimon. Yeah, so it depends on the industry. Pictures might not download, so you always add a part where people can see it online without the picture. But for e-commerce and for retail stuff where rental spaces and property spaces where pictures are important, it has a value to add it. Okay, so step 3. Okay, so here's a test for you. Well, not a test. I thought we could give some examples, even though we've done some here in the group. So if you are a marketing consultant, there are so many things you could put out on a weekly basis. So questions would be, what digital marketing should I start with? You could do an email about that. You could do about how to choose a designer. You could do about, what's more important, word of mouth or Facebook ads. This is a lot about digital marketing, but the questions people ask you, the stuff people don't know, the education. Okay, so here's a bit of a different one, a deli owner. Okay, so what could a deli owner put out? That's not going to be information. So he could put out recipes once a week. That would be cool. And also like that could be linked to his product at the bottom. You can definitely link as part of the sales there. Top, 5 soup recipe, or how to use this deli piece. Yeah. Okay. Your financial advisor could do so many different things. How to choose the right insurance company. The real reason why, I'm just totally thinking about it off the top of my head. The real reason why people's wills aren't right when they are, that's more of a legal thing. So people probably ask a finance, should I invest locally or should I invest globally? What stock should I choose? My taxes, there's so many things which he could add value. Remember, the thing about email marketing, it's not about, you want to add so much value that they want to open next time. So it's got high stakes. It's not an ad on Facebook or Google that you just click once and that's it. Your offer, which is the email, has to really speak to people and position you as the expert, position you as someone they like and trust. You could get personal. There's lots of different ways you could do it. The other thing, which I think I haven't included yet. Okay. There are 3 general types of email sequences. Okay. The first email sequence is called a welcome sequence. A sequence means a series of automated emails. A welcome sequence might have one in. Have you ever signed up for something and they say to you, welcome, and then you get a few emails after that? Anyone can think of an example like that? Often, if you use Canva, you often get that. Okay, so that's called a welcome sequence. It might be one email, just, hi, I'm Nadine, this is what I sell. I'll be sending some tips about this. Thank you so much for joining my list. Those are really important because they have the highest open rates traditionally, and they're really cool because you set them up once and they live forever. So if someone downloads something, they join your list, and you give them a little intro into your company and you tell them about you and tell them what to expect. So that's called your welcome sequence. If you would do one thing from today, I would say set up a really strong welcome sequence, even if it's only one email. Why? Because that's when people are most interested in you. We kind of call it the day zero, and their interest in what you're offering is the highest. So if you can set up an interesting email which is relevant and speaks to them and personal, and that they realize that they actually want to engage with you. Okay. The next kind of email sequence typically is called a nurture sequence. So this is a nurture sequence, which is not to sell things, but what I was saying is to build, to nurture the relationship. So you have someone who's like and not the most interested lead, but they're a lead, or they're not that interested, and you want to nurture the relationship and build the relationship that they feel that they're ready to take the next step eventually, which might be sooner, might be later, that they trust you, they like you, they see value in the things you're doing. So your nurture sequence is really fun. It can have so many different parts. There are typical ones for the service industry, for B2B, for your e-commerce, and for your services, for your service as a software platforms, but they generally include, why I started the business, case studies or testimonials or stories about other people who have succeeded, interesting stuff that you might be struggling with, my top 5 tips around this. It's really, again, to carry on building that relationship, adding value, keep going. Okay, so that's your nurture sequence. And typically this one you want to keep consistent. So you want it to be every week if you can, every second week. E-commerce people often do it, a few times a week. It really depends on your industry. There are different standards. And it's always about test, and see what actually works. And the final one is called a sales sequence. So that's when you have an offer and you're ready to launch it, and you've nurtured your lead, they have a relationship with you, and you're ready to sell something. So when we're talking about the coaching world, if you'll have someone who is welcomed, then the next month or 2, they are nurtured, and they just, the person just shares information and knowledge and wisdom. And then a couple of times a year, they do into like a hectic sales sequence, which is like 8 to 10 emails every day. And it's to sell like a high ticket course or a low ticket course. And that's generally your sales sequence. Of course, sometimes you'll have where it makes sense is to include, at the end of your email, a little blurb about what you do. And, you want to work with me more, want to buy from me here, you can buy here. There's always want to include a link in your email called your call to action, your CTA. You always want to have that somewhere, whether it's just set up a free consult or, fill out this form or click onto this blog. You really want to get people used to clicking, engaging, and being on and having somewhere to go afterwards, but you don't always have to do that. Again, I'm talking a lot because there's no rules on general rules. It depends on your industry, on your list, on your offer. If you're selling something worth $5,000 is different, 5,000 Rand is different to selling something worth 50 Rand. Okay. Any questions on this? Decide when to send. And of course, this can grow with time. So like I said, you can set up your welcome sequence. You just do it once. Even if it's got one email, set and forget, great. And you can do a short nurture sequence once a week or once every 2 weeks. That is fabulous. Okay, does anyone have any questions or comments about when to send and what to send? No.
Can I ask, please? Oh, sorry.
Yes.
How often what are the time limits? Must an email be sent once a week on a Monday at 10 o'clock, or how do you know when is best?
Great question. So firstly, consistency is great because people know to look out for your email and they know it's coming. Okay, you can decide what day works for you. There's generally you'll see what time is the best to send by when people open. It doesn't have to be the exact same time. If you can do it, on a Monday every morning, or it would be a good idea that there is some consistency and people know what to expect. So it really depends on your industry. Before, maybe you could send out your new rentals, which are available every single Monday, and then they know to look out on a Monday. Depends on your industry and when people are interested, but being consistent is very important because it's like a conversation and they know to expect it.
Thank you.
And even if they don't even open your email, they still remember that you are the estate agent. You're like this really nice estate agent who sends high value, useful information.
Thank you.
Okay. Like I'm sure you'll notice like Mr. Price, Home, and they all send like every single day. So I'm not an e-commerce email specialist. I work in B2B and B2C, but there obviously is something about sending emails every single day in e-commerce. It depends. And again, it really is the amazing thing about all digital marketing, especially emails and all digital marketing, is it's all trackable and traceable. So you can see what people are interested in writing and reading about, what they care about, which emails get opened more. It's all tracked and seen inside your email service provider. Okay, so go on to the next question. Now comes the big question. Okay, so choose your email platform. Okay, so your email platform is really a system, and you go on. It's like an online platform, and it lets you do a whole bunch of amazing things. So the first thing it does, it lets you store your list. You can also create a little form where people fill out and it goes straight into your list. Then you can schedule your emails, send your emails, track your emails, report on your emails, a whole bunch of different things. Now, when people start out, a lot of people use MailChimp, right? Who's using MailChimp here? Hand. Okay. So MailChimp is a little bit, definitely not controversial. I've been using MailChimp for years. MailChimp is, if you're starting out and you have less than 2,000 people, MailChimp is a good option because it's 100% free. The free version has become very limited in terms of automations and functionality. But if you're starting out and you don't want to spend 1 cent, it's a perfect place to start out. If you are planning on adding thousands and thousands of people to your list, don't start out with MailChimp right away. The other one is, so like I said, MailChimp isn't a long-term option. A lot of big companies use it. For the amount you end up paying when you move to the paid plan and the functionality it has, a lot of the experts, even the small business experts, don't like MailChimp for that reason. But I wouldn't say don't use it, because if it's better than nothing. And if you only need really basic functionality, it will be fine. But if you're planning in the short term to have thousands of people and you like a big company or you can have a big email list, don't start with MailChimp. It will be a pain. The other one people suggest is Sendinblue. I haven't used it. I think it has a free plan. ConvertKit has a free plan. Not a great free plan. It does have a free plan. ActiveCampaign is by far the most robust and the most long-term. It has all the functionality. It has workflows. It has like these workflow recipes where basically like sends your person down a whole cycle and it's all automated. It's not that expensive, but it doesn't have a free plan to start with. And if you're talking e-commerce, some of the top ones, but there's a whole bunch more, are your Drip and your Klaviyo, and they're experts who deal only in these. Like I said, email is its whole, how much? Okay, so Spencer, that's a great question. Pricing for email marketing products generally are based on two things. One is the number of subscribers you have, and number two is the functionality. So obviously, as you move up and you want more functionality, and more subscribers, the prices go up. MailChimp has basic functionality up to 2,000 subscribers for free. Doesn't have the best functionality, but for small businesses, it really is enough. It has limitations. You can only send 10,000 emails a month. So say you have 2,000 people on your list, that's 5 emails a month. That might not work for everyone. Like I said, MailChimp used to have an amazing free option, and they changed it. So there still is a free option, but it's not as valuable as it used to be. For what you get from MailChimp versus ActiveCampaign, when you're talking about thousands, you probably want to use ActiveCampaign. On every single one of these sites, you can go and they show you a tier. You put in how many subscribers you're planning on getting, and it will show you the exact price of what you get. The other cool thing about pretty much all of these, well, at least definitely the top 4, is they all have built-in things like landing pages, forms, and stuff like that, which means you could theoretically set up a really very basic website on one of these things. Say you have an offer, you could set up a landing page, which is really a single page to get people to do one thing. So that's what that is. Like I said, I would look at ActiveCampaign, because for what you get, I think the basic package starts at $10 a month for 500 people. For what you get, that's so what's that, 140 Rand. And GroupMail, Sean, I haven't heard about GroupMail. If your email platform is working for you, that's great. I'm just putting out there, like from what I've read and what I've learned from people who specialize in software automation and what they've tested out. And it seems that ActiveCampaign is kind of the best. There's other ones though. There's ConvertKit, there's HubSpot, which apparently is really good. There's a lot out there. You don't need something so complicated. You don't need something so fancy. So that's why I've highlighted these two blue ones. Just from what I've read, is MailChimp, even though some people would say stay away from it. Don't touch it with a 10-foot pole. I still use it for my personal coaching business, and I'm happy with it. I'll probably have to move soon. Okay, any other questions? So once you set up your email platform.
Sorry, can I ask, please? Please, can I ask, MailChimp, how do I set that up? How do I do it?
Okay, so you have to go into MailChimp and follow the onboarding process. You could ask them to help you. There's lots of videos online. You basically set up your list, and you set up your list, you set up your campaign, And from there's a lot of online stuff which can help you and walk you through the process. And the first time there might even be a help function on there.
Okay, is it Google orientated? Does it belong to Google? MailChimp?
No, MailChimp belongs to itself. That's a great question. MailChimp is a private or publicly owned company. It's one of the oldest and one of the biggest email service providers. And you register more than one business in MailChimp. Yes, you can have 2 different accounts under one username in MailChimp, if that's what you're saying. So one person can have, I think.
I've got one email address, and for me to register it with MailChimp, is it easy to do?
Yes, very easy. It's very easy. It's very easy. Okay. Michael says, Michael, how many people are on in your business? I mean, not in your business, on your email list are you talking about?
Sorry.
Hi, Eliana. Sorry, it's Michael's.
Yes.
It's Michael's son, Jared. I'm the one doing the typing, so he can focus. Just so.
Okay. Good teamwork.
So, what was your question? How many people? It's somewhere between 2,000 and 3,000. So it's kind of on that MailChimp cap.
So I would really look at moving away from MailChimp because you're going to be paying a lot for not getting the functionality.
Yeah.
I know that HubSpot has a really nice integrated CRM and email system. I'm not an expert at CRM. I know companies will have a CRM and integrate it to your active campaign. It depends on your workflow, on your processes, on your business requirements. I do have a colleague and a friend who does specialize in business automations, which I can connect you with. It really depends on what you need and how. But like I said, since you are sitting on that cap, the active campaign will probably give you a much better value for money, and they have amazing functionality built into them. And they might even have a CRM built into them. A lot of these companies are actually they're not email marketing companies. They're like full service marketing companies, and a lot of people only use them for email and stuff like that, but they actually are very, very powerful, from handling your entire sales funnel. So you can look at Active Campaign and HubSpot. That's what I would look into if I were you, if you would want to move, if that's something which would interest you. Of course,
I will look at Active Campaign. Thank you. That sounds interesting. The reason for my question is because, ideally we want a system that manages the whole process together so we can have those monitoring.
Yes. Yes. So check HubSpot out because they definitely have a CRM also. They're also one of the email providers. They're more powerful than these ones, but it sounds like you need something more powerful.
Yeah. Cool. Thanks, Ellie.
Okay. Wouldn't it be preferable to downsize? Okay, Shimon, that's a great question. You're talking about list hygiene. Yes, keep your list clean. If people are never opening it, delete them. But if you are, if you are dealing with 5,000 people, you don't want to be constantly limited by that 2,000 cap. Okay, so my personal list, I'm busy doing that. And yes, you do want to always keep your list clean. It gets your open rates up, get your stats up and everything like that. But it's not really a long-term strategy if you're planning on building your business, building up your email list. Okay, any other questions? Okay, so what does an email platform do? Okay, so go a bit back. One, it stores your list and it can input people into your list. So you can send them a little form and they put their name in and they can go onto your website, it can go onto your Facebook page, it can go anywhere. They like talking to other platforms. Email platforms really integrate really well with your Facebook, with your Google, with your WordPress, with everything like that. Obviously, then you can create your emails. They like calling them campaigns, and most of them. The other thing it does really well is reports. So you can see, number one, how many people opened your email. Number two, how many people opened it more than once. You can some of you are going to say, yeah, but with iOS has changed, and with all the changes and all the analytics, you can't get accurate reporting. I don't know the full answer to that yet, but it gives you some indication of what people are doing. And the other thing which it does is you can see which subject lines open better. So what tells you if your email is good is if people click through from your email. What tells you if your subject line is good is if people open it. And the other really powerful thing it will do, especially for your business and your CRM, that's connected to your CRM and any other marketing or engagement with your customers, is it can tag and segment groups. So say you have somebody who is in you property and you do retail and you do commercial, and you now want to send out an email about a new commercial offer. If you've tagged your people, which means you've put them into the right groups, you can do highly personalized, highly targeted emails, which is very, very powerful. The more you talk to someone about what exactly they need, the more useful it is to them. So Nadine, if you have somebody who is looking for blinds for their house as opposed to blinds for their office, or you can even tag them by any single variable you want. So if you're a national retailer or you're a national service provider and you have an offer only in Gauteng, then you can tag by different suburbs or different provinces. So it's very, very powerful. And every single person in the industry and the expertise in email marketing is tag people, make it useful, and make use of those tags. Don't just tag them, make use of them. So send personalized offers, send personalized emails, send personalized information. Okay, so if you know, yes.
Eliana, could you do this even in MailChimp?
Yes, you can do tags and segments in MailChimp.
Magic.
MailChimp does have a lot of basic functionality. Where it falls short on is the amount of people and then your automations. It used to be, doesn't let you automate a lot. I don't even know if it lets you automate anything at the moment. And it doesn't let you schedule stuff, but just do it. Just start wherever you are. And then again, it can automate stuff. So I'm sure you've been all been recipients of automated emails, which, you do something, then 2 days later, then something comes out to the other, or you untake a lot and the cart, and your cart, those abandoned cart emails are also all from an email strategy and an email marketing platform. That's probably via Klaviyo or, a custom built e-commerce platform, which when it sees that you've abandoned your cart and then goes and sends you an email. So very, very powerful, especially on large scale, but on small scale also. There's no reason why you cannot take advantage of it and build up, build up your audience, build up your relationship, build up your expertise. Any questions? After I've just spoken a lot. Watching the time here.
So, Eliana, can I ask you a question?
Yes.
In my blinds business, which is more formal, I can follow pretty much what you've been talking about. In the oils business, things are very much more on a personal kind of methodology, like emails. We only work on Facebook and on WhatsApp groups. Is there a place for maybe one medium for the more corporate world and one medium for a sort of...
Okay, Nadine, that is a great question. Emails are not only corporate. Emails are not corporate at all. Everybody opens emails, whether they're corporate or not. Okay, so emails are very personal, real, authentic relationship with people. And if you have a very strong traction in your Facebook and your Instagram groups and you're getting tons and tons of, your sales funnels flowing really nicely, then you don't need to do emails. But it's an extra medium which can really support all those sales processes. So all those people on Facebook who've commented, who are interested, who kind of curious but don't really trust, what our oil's about, this is a chance to move them further down the sales funnel by nurturing that relationship, by giving them more education, by giving them more information, by giving them stats, by giving them personal stories about your clients. There's so much you can do. You can pretty much do the same thing in a Facebook group, but the question is, do you offer, such unified, solidified information? Definitely not only for corporates.
Right.
Definitely. It's for anyone who's a person. Most people I know
are persons. Okay, thank you.
I'm sure you open emails from which are not targeting. We are targeting you as a person, right?
100%.
Okay, so now I think this fun begins. Okay, so now you know exactly what to do. You want to write them, you want to schedule them, you want to analyze them, tag them, segment them, and personalize them. Personalized doesn't only have to be with their name, doesn't need to be with their name, but again, talking to them about something which is interesting for them, which is relevant to them. So the more you narrow down who you're talking to, the more useful it can be. And actually, I thought that we wouldn't have enough time, but any questions, complaints, virtual coffee? And I've given you a lot of information, or kind of a brief overview of a really awesome, exciting, and powerful industry and powerful mechanism. but I'm here to answer any questions. Okay. How would you recommend? Okay, Michael Shane. Okay, Michael, that is a great question. Would you recommend an email offering a free book, How to Sell Your Home Quickly? Okay. Why do you sell? Why do we give out free ebooks, Michael? That's a trick question, hey? I'm putting you on the spot.
So would you like me to answer that?
Yes.
Okay, so basically